Welcome back to the Road to a Million podcast. Today I'm with Nick Roman, owner of Splash Hand Car Wash and Detail. And Nick's got two locations. One is in Northbrook, Illinois, and the other one is in Libertyville, Illinois, both right around the Chicago area. So Nick's going to tell us about his story today and how Splash came to be. These guys are doing almost 200 to 400 cars per day between the two locations. And 60% of their business is hand car washes. So I think Nick saw the opportunity to start getting into PPF, window tint, ceramic coatings, and using the current clientele base to upsell and educate about these different services. So we're going to talk about all that on this week's episode. Don't forget, you guys can use the timestamps in the description if you'd like to skip ahead. And without further ado, let's get right into it. All right, today I'm with Nick Roman, owner of Splash Hand Car Wash and Detail in Northbrook and in Libertyville, Illinois. You guys have two locations, right,
We
Nick?
got two locations, and believe it or not, you know what I mean? We also have a dog grooming facility, which we can talk about, not talk about. But you know what? It's all one big mixing pot there, which is a lot of fun.
Where's that at?
It's in the same building as our Libertyville location.
Okay. Well, I've seen like some of these self-serve car washes that have the dog wash equipment there. So is it the
Yeah.
same kind of idea?
That's what we thought we were gonna do. And then you know what? We decided let's make our lives as difficult as possible. And we do full service haircuts. We've got 15 people on staff.
Oh my
And
gosh.
it is a full-time, yeah, wrecking ball there.
15 people for just the dog grooming?
Just a dog grooming. Yeah.
Wow.
So so we keep ourselves busy. And yeah, it's a good time, washing cars and washing dogs. The big dogs, right? We just put right through the wash lane.
How many of your car wash customers are bringing their dogs in, or vice versa?
Yeah, great question. I'd say it's a good 50% chunk. And then you'll see, I mean, there's certain people that are just dog people that don't see the value in the car, hand car wash side. And then vice versa, people that have, their dogs and they're like, hey, they just don't need certain dog services. So, to each their own, two separate businesses completely, even though they share the same building, but you're able to build different experiences and learn from one another when you've got two complete different sectors in the same building, which is pretty cool.
Hmm. Is there anything specifically that you feel like you've learned from one that's translated over to the other?
Yeah. So again, we're in the people business. You know what I mean? Being able to handle specialized labor, being able to focus on training from within, figuring out what works best for the employee, to learn, to grow, and to have those sort of goals that they're working towards. Um, really shines through for dog grooming, right? It's a pretty specialized service. You're not really, just grabbing anyone to cut your dog's hair. And believe it or not, people love their dogs more than cars. So it gave us a really good perspective on customer service and how we can elevate that on the car side as well. So we treat the cars as if they were dogs, believe it or
Yeah.
not.
Man, it is crazy. Like people have insurance for their pets now, and um, yeah, I mean, I know there's mobile dog grooming that my mom has
Listen, I
that
know
done
I know
sometimes.
those PPF tickets are high, right? And I know that there's people that spend a lot of money on their cars, right? It does not come close to the dogs. The dogs, the dog people spend a lot of money on their dogs. And yeah, it's just what they care about the service. They care about where they take them. They really want to make sure from start to finish they feel, that they can trust you. And then when you're able to sprinkle some of that on the car side, no one else has really taken that level of service, that level of care with it.
Hmm. Yeah, have you seen all these like new um, dog food brands that have popped up in like the last, I feel like 5 years, like the farmer's dog and
Yeah,
all
yeah, the
like
ones
the,
that deliver to their house, man,
yeah.
those are expensive. I got three German Shepherds, um, and they eat Costco dog food, and they're doing great. They're like all 10, 11, 12 years old, so they're doing good. But yeah, that farmer's dog is real expensive.
How much is it?
I I haven't checked in a while. Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's a lot more expensive than your typical dog food, but I wasn't sure how much. Well, man, let's talk about I want to know how you got started with detailing and how Splash began.
Yeah. So really cool origin story. It's all family. Kudos to the pops, to my dad. He's had 24 different car washes in the Skokie, Evanston area. And in high school, there was a conversation of like, hey, we want you to go to college. There's certain things, I'm the first college graduate in the family, and deciding to say, hey, what direction do you want to go? He was retired. He was done. He didn't want to do anything else. And he ended up opening up a store for him. And then he ended up opening up this other store and we built it together. And then pretty much it turned into a progression. And we can get into more details and everything. But now I pretty much just run, we run everything. You run what you always want to retire your dad. It's always a, kudos to them. But there's no way we would be here without our father and our family and how we've been able to continuously be hand washing in the North Shore. And he's got 11 brothers and sisters. Believe it or not, most of the brothers have had different hand washes in the North Shore. When I say it's a family effort, it's experience, for generations of building these businesses, figuring out what works, and delivering a really unique service, I think, that you just don't see too often, you know, at least in the North Shore area.
Was all the car washes your dad had, were they all hand washes?
So for a little bit, yes, that's the one, 1981. Started in Skokie, Specs and Snappies, and those were hand washes. And then he sold those, and he decided to just do consulting, and he flipped a couple machine washes. Um, but there was something tried and true with the hand wash that sort of stuck with him, with the detailing. And then he never really took it above the detailing, right? It was always hand wash, 3 to 5 minute services that were pretty fast, believe it or not. Sort of like that Henry Ford style conveyor line where it was a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people all doing one task. And then and the detailing was like, hey, on a need basis, like, hey, you would call George and say, hey, I need my car cleaned, and then he wouldn't. There's no menu. Okay, cool, $200, whatever it is, and the car, would be spotless. And then instead of really diving into the numbers and figuring out a detailed menu and a ceramics and tint and PPF, that all sort of came later.
Hmm. Yeah, was that you that kind of introduced all that?
Yeah, yeah. When I when I told him, hey, we're doing ceramics 10 years ago, he was like, Nick, we wax. What are you talking about? And I'm like, yeah, we're gonna need to do some ceramic coatings. And then we introduced that, um, worked with Expel for PPF for tint, and then we also introduced mobile detailing as well, which was really cool. So, but all of this was where we would back to the employees, right? We would have guys that got to that point were really good detailers, but I don't like people hitting the ceiling. So what is that next level? What's that next thing they can learn? What's that next pay scale that they can reach for? And we're like, hey, we need to unlock something not just for the business, but for our employees to continue to grow. Or else we're just gonna, they're gonna go on to their next adventure.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that it was Dustin Jackson, way back when I
we
had
could,
him on the podcast that he
we
was
know Dustin.
mentioning. Yeah, I know. I was actually wondering how you guys met, how you guys know each other.
So believe it or not, it was one day random. I just messaged him out of the blue. I said, "Hey, you know what? I've got two kids, and we do a podcast together on Fridays, Polishing Profits." But I messaged him and I'm like, "Hey, I saw a couple of his podcasts. I know they were going through a transition, and I was like, hey, if you need someone to just jump on and just talk about business, talk about life, you know what I mean? I think we would really sort of sync." And he messaged back right away, and it was one of those spur of the moment things, and we just sort of rocked with it. I've never done a podcast. I never talked about, I talked online. Um, but for me, I don't sell anything online. There's no ROI directly to me. I just think that when it's tried, it's true, and you're able to sort of put good content out there. And maybe one day my kids will see it later and be like, hey, what the heck was dad talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that was really sort of a cool sort of experience. And then, MTE, SEMA, you know what I mean? We've stayed pretty close throughout that.
That's cool. Well, I think it was him that was telling me similar kind of a thing that like, because he's got such a wide, he's got several different businesses, and
Yeah. Yeah. Talk about a guy that's got his hands full. Yeah.
yeah, and opportunities for his guys to kind of move up and move around in it, which I think is really cool and something that I've always um, really admired and would I want to replicate with inside of our own business at some point.
Yeah.
Um, because there's only so much money to be had in detailing, let alone just like washing cars. You can't pay people um, just the greatest wage in order just to wash cars. But you obviously want to be able to provide your guys opportunities to grow, and if they want to stick with the company and learn more skills.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that it's really cool that there's the different levels of services that obviously get paid more and more whenever you move up.
Now, the one thing is I do, the hand car wash, it is something that's the backbone of our business. Even with PPF, even with tint, even with ceramic coating and detailing and mobile detailing. I call it bingo days, when the days when we've got every single service going on at the same time, which is amazing. But every single person in our shop knows that that hand car wash is the reason that we're here, and that's what the four walls provide. So if you're done with a PPF, if you're done with a tint, if you're, there's no person above another person. Guess where they're going when they're done with that? Helping in the car wash lane. Like, we're gonna make sure that if anyone's got an ego, they don't work there. And I think that's something that's really, really tried and true. That again, I'll be out there washing cars. There's nobody above someone else. And that hand car wash is truth. Been, that is what built our business, and it's still probably 60% of our business.
Hmm. How many guys do you have working for you at both locations?
With the dogs or without the dogs?
Without the dogs. We've got the
Without the dogs.
15. We've got the
Yeah,
15 for the
it's
dogs,
like
but
usually about 10 to 15 per day
for each location?
for each location. Yeah. So it so one location's about double the size. We actually wash two cars at the same time. There's no track, there's no machine. It's all done by hand. And then it pulls forward, and it's about a 120-foot long tunnel, and then we've got, you'll have a window guy, a vacuumer, dryer. Our biggest challenge is making sure that the communication is there with the customer, understanding that, hey, this is a maintenance wash and not a detail. Because the biggest challenge for a hand wash is $30 is going to be different for you, for me, for the person that's comes in tomorrow, and them deciding what that value of what they should get for the $30 is. So we say, hey, we're going to spend 5 to 10 minutes inside your car, but we're not going to be able to detail your car in 5 to 10 minutes. It's just not possible. So making sure that sort of community, that's our biggest hiccup, and that's what we battle every single day to make sure people know it's a hand car wash and not a detail for $30. But yeah, that's one of our sort of fun challenges that we get to deal with every day.
How do you guys do that? Set
It's
expectations.
set expectations at checkout. Whenever there's little buzzwords that we hear, like, hey, we really really need the inside checked, or we haven't washed our car in months, or we've got you see a minivan pull out with 17 kids coming out of it, we're going to let them know, say, hey, do you need a car wash or do you need a detail? And let them know the two options every single time to try and set that expectation. um, we have been there for about 14 years now, so it is people start to know what they're getting. um, it's the same customers every week. That's not the issue. It's the new customers. And just this year, we started running ads. We started diving more into our CRM. We started making sure that everything, was buttoned up on that side of it. Um, Here, I know we're not live, so I'm going to say, hey, Parker. Parker's going to school right now. Hey, buddy, you ready? Come here. You want to come say hi? Hey, Parker.
Hey,
This is
Parker.
Parker.
What's up, man?
Good.
Ready? Going to school? Okay.
How
Have
old
a
are
great day,
you?
okay, buddy? How old are you?
7.
7? So are you in second grade?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Second grade. Nice.
Goes by fast, right?
What's your
Yeah.
favorite subject in school?
iPad.
iPad?
I
Yeah.
bet.
2025, that is a subject in school.
I had no idea.
I used to like recess. Do you like recess too? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Do you play any sports, Parker?
Yeah. I play soccer.
Oh, soccer. That's a good one.
Yeah. Who's your favorite player?
Romano.
Lamine Yamal, FC Barcelona.
Man, I don't know a lot of professional soccer players, so I know obviously I know Messi and Ronaldo and um uh
You like those two, right? Who's on your sweatshirt right now? Right?
looks
You
like
got
Messi.
Messi on there? Yeah. You like coming to work sometimes with dad, with mom? Yeah. So, have you washed a couple cars?
I only watched yours.
You washed mine? Yeah, we got
Yeah.
him training. Okay, so we've got him going.
Oh,
Okay,
cool.
mom's gonna take you to school, right? Okay, come here. I love you.
Let's see here. So, I guess one question I have for you
Yeah,
is when it comes to setting expectations
yeah,
for the new customers, like, and this is something that we've struggled with a lot. We've kind of thought about restructuring some of our details to where we have like packages, to
yeah.
where we've got like your maintenance level 1, you've got your level 2, which is like your mid-tier detail, and then you've got your level 3, which is like full-blown shampooing everything,
Yeah.
breaking out the steamer, like really getting into the nooks and crannies. But my worry with doing that is that there's going to be people that convince you or themselves or both that they just need a level 1 when in reality they need like a level 2, or they really need a level 3 when they really want a level, they request a
They want
level
the
2.
price of the level 1 or they want the price of the level 2. It usually
Exactly.
comes down to price. So again, a clear and easy menu to read where they can see making those differences so drastic. It's not level of cleanliness between a level 1, a level 2, a level 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
We completely simplified our detailing. We have a mini detail and a mini plus. We completely removed shampoo and have it strictly as a add-on for spills. Everybody has weather techs in their cars now. Where the only difference between our mini and our mini plus is steam cleaning the leather seats, conditioning the leather seats, UV protect the plastics, and it's only an extra $50. So our level 1 and level 2 is simply just an elevated level 1. And if they don't want the leather seats, they're still going to get the same cleaning. And then you play the law of averages. Are you going to get a car that's dirtier than the next? Absolutely. But can you do it at scale where it becomes you're going to get some mini details or level 1s that are pretty easy, knock it out right away.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to have some that are going to be a little dirtier? Absolutely. Is one, you know what I mean? There's no way you're going to be able to just cut it down to doing it exactly 1 hour or exactly 2 hours. Is that the right answer? Is that the most efficient? I don't know. But I want my number one goal, which again, kind of learned it from the dog grooming side, happy customer. It's happy customer. Because for me, I'm going to see that customer back for maintenance washes. We're going to see between the two locations 200, 300, 400 people every single day coming through, right? That foot traffic is my business. So making sure that making sure that that one customer that's a pain in the butt is happy is part of doing business, at least the way that I see it.
Yeah. How much of your business at this point is repeat?
Yeah, 80% at least.
That's got to feel good.
Yeah, no, it feels good. It puts everything a little bit more on cruise control. I've got another kid due in about a week.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, so we've got everything locked up and tightened up to be like, hey, look, we're not trying to break a record next month. Just make sure nothing's on fire.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so truthfully, it is trying to keep everything on cruise control. And it's again, what what's the goal of the business? Where are you trying to get to? Right now, we've planted all of our seeds with PPF and Tint. It's all internal training. You know what I mean? It's all putting time and effort into the CRM, into the customer service. It's yeah, and it's just trying to create the best customer experience from day one. I remember when I was younger, I used to really believe in perceived time was something that was really important to me for at least a hand car wash because we do have people that are waiting. So I thought to myself, and it's like a walkway, our waiting room. It's kind of like a hallway.
Mm.
How many different things can we have to catch a customer's attention as they're waiting for their car? Right. So if you're looking on TikTok or you're, listening to this podcast, how fast does time go when you're not thinking about the time? Right. So my number one goal in our waiting room was to say, hey, there's a certain value in having people think that they were there longer, right? And or them saying, "Oh wow, the car is already done," or whatever it is, right? And it instead of them sitting there just watching you do their car, because it's not a super flashy process. So we have a 1,200 gallon fish tank in there. We've got different videos of our different services going on. Um, and a couple TVs, making sure stuff is comfortable, making sure that people can whatever we can do to catch their attention for 15 to 20 seconds was something that was really important to us previously, and making sure that customers went through sort of our little tunnel, our little fun house, or whatever it was. So when they got to the end and their car was done, even though on average we we have cars in and out of there in 2.5 minutes, fully washed, vacuumed, wiped, between 15 guys on a Saturday. We're checking out 2 cars every 5 minutes. We need to make sure that people feel that like they're getting their service that they need and they want. They have to feel that quality. We have to set that level of expectation. Every element, every detail in that shop is super important to make that happen.
Hmm. How do you manage that, or like do you have someone that
Yeah.
kind of focuses on that side of things?
In terms of the efficiency,
Yeah, in terms of efficiency, but also just like overall customer experience, like the different parts of the lobby and waiting area, and just all the little fine details that people might notice.
it's feedback from the returning customers. You know what I mean? There's believe it or not, we're not going to have another third location. We're not going to be continue to expand. We would rather maximize what we have, because business is relationships. The
Hmm.
amount of those repeat customers that know us, know the service, know the experience. As soon as you kind of remove yourself completely from the business, you lose a little bit of that. you know um so truthfully, it is me. It is feedback from customers. It is saying, hey, what you know talking to other people with other businesses in the area and seeing stuff that might be at a coffee shop, seeing stuff that's outside of just the car wash businesses, and seeing how can it be integrated into our business.
Hmm. When I had on Adam Patali from Enzo's and
Yeah.
founder of Adams Polishes, he was telling me, because he's got a similar kind of model with Enzo's, and he was telling me that he's got like this. He tries to make this Goldilocks zone with his lobby, where like if you want to sit outside, he's got an area outside for you. Or if you want to sit inside, like he's got like an area where you can kind of hang out and be quiet. But there's also an area where you can kind of watch like TV, and so he's got like all these different zones, areas where people feel comfortable, and obviously
Yeah.
coffee bar,
Yeah.
and snacks, and just those little things I think that make people really feel at home whenever they're not.
And the other thing is okay, now flip it to the other side. How important, if you go for a car wash, do you want to spend 30 minutes of your day there? I would guess no.
No.
I wouldn't. People are busy. People got stuff going on. The car wash has always been something more of a convenience
Hmm.
than a necessity. Um, so making sure that people do get in and out of there. One of our biggest compliments is they're like, "Hey, yeah, we're not here waiting all day." There's a there they because we wash 2 cars at a time, right? When there's a big line of cars, right? They're able to take these larger steps in line instead of just continuously inching forward. It's kind of like when you're in line at Disney or in line at an amusement park. It's they're sitting in line, but they're taking bigger steps in a way, and they're seeing the line move. You don't want to sit there and not see the line move. You're like, oh my God, this is monotonous. So there's certain little elements that lets you sort of keep you know, customers coming back, that we try and play into a little bit.
I want to know, whenever you started to introduce these other services like ceramic coatings and then PPF and window tint,
Yeah.
was that a fairly easy introduction into your car wash customers?
Into the car wash customers, absolutely. I think that was something where when you've been there, so when you ask that question, my number one response is going to be trust, right? It's a lot you can build. And again, it's a sliver of trust, but it's more than just seeing it online. It's more than a Google ad, right? When someone comes in, you do a transactions for $30. There's a little trust there. They're trusting you with your vehicle. And now when they come back and they're like, oh, hey, oh, we're doing something new. This is what we're doing. you're going to be able to catch their ear more than a website, more than, it's in person. So for the customers, it was not difficult to let them know, hey, we've got this amazing product. We got to show you. You know what I mean? We'll have a demo car. We'll have the little displays there that we did for a little bit, to give them an idea of why they need to do this on their car. And then what we do internally is say, okay, how can we maximize the upsell for specific customers? If it's a brand new car, first thing we're saying is, hey, do you need, just so you know, I know they always want to hand wash it for about 2 years when they buy a new car. Do you need anything else? Just so you know, we do all this other stuff and leave it super open ended. If it's a first time customer, we're not there trying to sell a first time customer. But the third time they're in, we're going to be like, hey, I don't want you to get a rock chip on your car. Let's at least do the bumper, just the way it's designed. We want to make sure you're protected. And they're like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. The self healing properties. Hey, you got a black car. You're never going to have a scratch on your hood again. 10-year, like all these little things play into it. And you're not sending that in a text on a Sunday while they're watching the Bears game, right? You're doing that in person when they're spending money, right? Because people are more likely to spend money when they're already spending it, and you're able to sort of have their ear for about 5 to 10 seconds to say, hey, this is what we have. This is something that would be advantageous for you. The number one thing I let everybody on the sales side, on the cashier side, on the customer service side, we don't sell anybody anything they don't need. It's that simple. If they don't need it, we don't sell it. If it's something that they're not asking for, we're not going to be pushing it on them. If they, we leave every single sales opportunity, every single customer service opportunity open ended. Where, hey, if you want more info, you can either let me know, or take a pamphlet, or here's this. We've got something to hand them for whatever they need, so they can take it, and then they'll come back if it's something that they want to continue.
A few of the guests I've had on have talked about certain verbiage when they're upselling. Like, for example, saying a lot of our customers that have new cars are doing this,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that helps people. I think they don't feel quite as sold or pushed into it. It's like more like, oh, that's interesting that a lot of other people like me are doing that. Like, um, let me learn more about that. I think that is like an interesting trick that we're kind of working on too, which is how to explain that.
So I think you're absolutely right, and I think they're right as well. The one thing I would sort of turn it to is, can you make it more specific, right? Have a video of you doing those services on a Tesla. Doesn't have to be the same exact Tesla. And say, hey, do you have 2 minutes? Just let me text you a YouTube vid of us doing PPF tint ceramic on this Tesla, just so you see, what I mean, when they see their car getting done. We just did this last week. We did this last month, whatever it is. That taking that one step farther is our goal for 2026 on the content side of having true value content for our existing customers, not necessarily just new customers, but something that we can say, hey, look, that expedition that we just did, we just did it. We know that, hey, do you want us to have it around the letters on the hood, or do you want to, we'll have them here. Do you want to black it out? We'll have those exact placement of the letters on top of the PPF. And then they pause for a second. They say, hey, oh, they don't really know what they're talking about. Those little details on each specific car, and having that so they can see it done, I think is something that was a real value add that we want to incorporate for the next year.
Mm-hmm. Are you the one doing the videos, or are you talking in any of the videos?
No, no, I am not talking on the videos. That is the one sort of time block that I'm struggling with. Trying to figure out how to create content, because I know it needs a face in front of it, to really connect online. And that's the one thing that we're really struggling with is trying to get that process figured out for myself. But it's between me, Sarah, she's in the business full force as
Is
well.
that your wife?
Yeah. And she's yeah, and it's a all hands on deck sort of situation.
Hmm. So are you guys trying to create a little bit more time to do the content side of things and be the face of it? Is that something your
It,
goal is?
it is. It is something that's our goal, whether it's us, whether it's an employee, whether it's someone that we hire out. But I believe in today's age we should be able to be in front of it. I think there has to be that personal connection because they're going to see us on the video, they're going to see us in person. Um, and then having it so I could jump in and talk about it right away. So like some of the video, obviously you don't have to be in front of it. It could be a voiceover, it could be, little talking head under the video. There's a lot of different ways to do it, and that's something that is a big focus for us.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any like ideas as far as like scheduling that? Because you guys are so busy and have so many cars in every single day. Like I'm just trying to imagine, finding the time in the car that you can like, um, I don't know, find the time to record.
I think when we've got our schedule, right? Because again, we're booked out. I think it is having a weekly plan of doing it once, at 1 hour per week. If we can't carve out 1 hour per week for a specific car to say, hey, we're going to take a video before, during, or, we do have the, stuff there so they can make the video without any voiceover. If we can't iron out 1 hour a week, then we're doing a disservice to our customers and to our services.
Mm-hmm.
And we know what cars are on the schedule. So we'll say, hey, for this windshield protection film, tint, and ceramic, we're going to make sure that we're there for this hour to say this is what we're doing, and we're going to make sure that we're there at the end of it to say, hey, this is how we did it. We'll have those in action shots, but that doesn't necessarily have to have us in there, so it can be an efficient process.
Yeah, man. I was just talking about that with Blake and Lorraine before we got on the podcast. Lorraine is my virtual assistant that does all of our video editing,
Yeah.
and Blake's been working for me for almost 4 years now. And he helps a lot with content too, and just how tough it is to like schedule that stuff, man. And like, we find ourselves in the middle of the day, like especially me, I'm really bad about it. Just like being like, oh, grab the phone, record this right now, and it's like, dude, we've got to get this done, And there's a million things going on, and it's like, no, we need to get this. This is a good content.
I would so much rather be doing anything else in any of the businesses than that. I don't know why. It spurs me to work on something else, believe it or not. Um, but I've also have real hard stops throughout the day. I think it's, again, family is super important to me. So making sure that I can be here and get my son off the bus, right? We'll be playing soccer in the front yard as long as it's above 55. It's getting colder over here. But there's certain parts of the business that I don't make exceptions for. There's certain things in my day that I don't make exceptions for. And I think that's important when you've got all this craziness going on. The headaches, the fires, the little stuff that needs to get taken care of. It'll be there tomorrow. I'll get it done between 9 and 3 or whatever time I'm working that day. And and you can maximize your time while you're there to make sure when you're there, you're 110% there. And then when you're not, you can be disconnected and still, it's that buzzword, right? That I know, I'll throw Dustin Jackson under the bus. It's that work-life balance, that I really, really strive for, and is important to me.
Yeah. Do you have like a way that you do that with family and all? Do you turn your phone off or put it on like do not disturb or?
Unfortunately, the phone is always on. The phone is always on. If there is an emergency, it's part of owning a business. And I know we talked about Sarah for just a second. She wraps, she tints. She is a better PPF installer than I am. I will put her on that pedestal. But she is usually at that Northbrook store, right? And I am at that Libertyville store. And we work really hard every day for our family. And we understand that, hey, if we're going to schedule something, we book a trip. I don't care what's going on, like 6 months in advance, right? So we book that trip with the kids, whatever it is. We make sure the time that we have with family is truly quality time. Because again, if they're at school, they're at daycare, like that's okay. Well, we're going to work really hard in that window.
Mm.
And then after the kids go to sleep, right? If there's a big PPF job or we got a couple or backed up in the shop or whatever it is, you the work-life balance thing ends at 8 o'clock when the kids are sleeping. I will go back to the shop and I'll knock out a bumper, I'll knock out a hood, I'll do whatever needs to be done to make sure we stay on pace for for the next day.
How far away do you live from your shop?
3 minutes.
Oh, that's really nice.
That was also something that was, again, the process, the efficiency. Josh, you don't know who you're talking to. This is stuff that is planned out since I was like 20 years old. From where we live to, yeah. We have a couple real estate properties. Guess how far away they are? They're 5 minutes.
Pretty close, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So everything that is needed is within 5 minutes of me.
Yeah, man, how much time like people spend just commuting, and man, it's
There's
like,
only 24 hours in the day, Josh.
yeah,
There's only 24 hours in the day.
yeah. Um, I feel like it really helps having your wife being in the business with you and like just understanding um just some of the things that go into it. Like I'm sure that it's stressful and hard at times, when you guys are both responsible for, the different locations. And sometimes your time gets pulled away, and you do have emergencies that happen, but also I'm sure that there's a lot of understanding and respect that's there for each other because you guys both know what the other might be dealing with or going through.
And it's also just same thing as in the business is the communication. It's talking it out. You know what I mean? Like we see each other's schedules. If, yesterday was a crazy day. But I was like, hey, I'm tinting these windows. I'm getting out of here by 5. But she knew that, right? And sometimes, right, she kind of, the one thing in business that kills, whether it's with customers, with family, assumptions. Assumptions kill. She assumed, like, hey, you know what? I'm going to get the kids. I'm going to take Charlotte to gymnastics and I'll take Parker with me. He can chill out. You know what I mean? And I'm like, Sarah, I was looking forward all day to hanging with Parker after work, right?
Mm,
It's these little things that just go throughout the day that sometimes go unspoken, and it's always in good faith of the other person, right?
yeah.
And I'm like, hey, you know what? I'll scoop them real quick, and we're gonna go get dinner while you're at gymnastics. 'Cause I don't want them sitting there. So I'm like, little stuff like that is our biggest hiccups. Where we try and assume and we try and do something for the other person, but the other person's got like a plan in their head already. We're both planners. We both have really good time management skills. We both really like know exactly how our day's going to go, even with the curveballs. Um, and we're able to prioritize our time. And I think that's her biggest strength for sure. And I think I do a pretty good job of that as well.
Yeah, man, that's got to be like that's one of those learned skills I think once you get into a really serious relationship is like
Yeah.
learning to not assume and like really not that you have to over communicate because I think you can do that too.
Yeah.
Um, but
When we
that
come home, it's it's like one of those things where you can tell, like, hey, we're not going to be talking about how whatever it was, or if there was a headache, or the only thing that's draining, Josh, and I'll be, as much as I love the business, we're in the customer service business. It can be the customers. You know what I mean? It can be, it's the people. There can be customers that will drain you because
mm,
you go every day with the intention. After here, I'm going to work. I want to do good by every person that comes in there, right? We're trying to provide a good service for good people. And there's going to be people you can't make happy. And it's going to be a thing where that's like, man, what the heck are we doing? You know, and that's the one thing that can drain you. And you come home and you're like, hey, I'm not going to bring that home. You know what I mean? There's bigger fish to fry. There's things that are more important. There's certain things that need your attention that you just can't let it get to you. And I think over time you get a little numb to it. But that's part of owning a business. That's part of if you're dealing with cars, you're dealing with car people, and people that are passionate about their what you're doing to their car, and you want to make sure that you can meet. It comes back to that, right? That level of service, those expectations, and that's why we put so much time into setting those right expectations for people.
mm, yeah. Yeah, that was one of my questions was how do you deal with customers that, expect more than that basic package?
We give them a discount. We say, hey, look, we're not able to do this service at this. If it's truly price point, price should never be a deciding factor for any of our services. I believe that. It doesn't mean that we're going to sit there and discount everything. I think we price ourselves above market on purpose to make sure that people, you know what I mean? It's going to sort of filter out some customers.
Yeah.
But if price is the deciding factor in our CRM, right? If they go through, they say, hey, they messaged us because they want something done. A detail, ceramic, PPF, whatever it is. There's something in their head that triggered to sit there, fill out a form, put their email. How much of a pain in the butt is doing all those forms, right? Shout out to Chris at Detailers Roadmap, who loves his form fill outs. Um,
That's how we met, by the way, for everyone listening, was um, I found Nick's site through one of Chris's because he's done your site. So your site
yeah,
looks really good, by the way.
Chris said it's his favorite site. I'm sure he says that to everybody. So but they go through all that time with the form fill out. They're looking to do something. It might not be one of yours, you know what I mean, at the level of service or the cost or whatever, the time that it takes. There's going to be some friction. but understanding that if it's a price situation, if we reach out to them, they don't come back to us, they go through our, our funnel. On day 3 that we send a message, we say, hey, listen, we're not going to bother you. If price is your deciding factor, here's a coupon, 10% off. But you've got to book it in the next 24 hours. Let us know if this is something that we can help you with. And it's that simple. I even, you know what I mean? Like if 10% is never going to make or break your business, especially for a returning customer. You'll make back that 10% every single time. But if price is the only deciding factor, you know what I mean? That's how we sort of have it built in there to win the market, to make someone stay, to make it something that's a positive. So I will put out the right foot, try and do good first, and not have the customer have to do that.
Yeah, man, it's so weird that like you get people that literally shop based on price. I have it happen with ads all the time. You said you've been running more ads, so
Yeah.
I'd be curious. Do you feel like that has gotten worse with ads since you guys started running ads? Like there's more and more people that are just shopping based on price.
That's a really good question. Because I haven't been doing it for very long, I'm a big believer in organic business. I'm a big believer in no ads. And this year, you know what I mean? We want ads to create awareness. We want our ads to create more than anything our customer database so we can figure out a way to provide value for them. It's not just about trying to win them and win that ticket. And you see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
we try and structure our ads a little bit differently. But we understand like there's people that have been living 5 miles from us that even though we've been there 10 plus years, don't even know we're there. You know what I mean? There is, and that goes for every business everywhere. So that online presence I think is really important. But yes, I do think that the majority of those ad shoppers are looking for price. So, but all that does is makes you sort of have to make sure your menu is competitive. You just have to be in the ballpark. And what is going to be that deciding factor between you and the shop right next door? In the little town that we're at in Libertyville, there's 4 other car washes and detail centers. We were the last ones to enter that space. We're not that we're the last ones there, but you know what I mean? There's plenty of cars on the road for everybody. Um, it's just a matter of trying to figure out those barriers of entry. What are those things that create that makes your services unique? And something that really played through that was really important that goes to our customers that are price shopping saying, hey, just so you know, we do everything here. You're going to have your car PPF'd, and we're here to stand by our work with 100% satisfaction because guess what? You're going to wash your car here, right? Because you want to hand wash your PPF car, your fully wrapped car. We know that our customers, you know what I mean? It's not just wrap your car and then see them in a year for a maintenance or what, you know what I mean? Like something like that. You might not see the customer again. So you're fighting for that customer every time. We're going to see them next week. They're gonna come right back. So there's a different element to it that's really plays into it that we're like, hey, you know what? We need to make sure that we get the right customers, and we need to make sure that those customers understand, hey, we're wrapping your cars for $2,000. Here, we're gonna wash your car for 30 next week. What do we need to do to make sure that we can build this relationship? And if prices, hey, they'll do it down the street for half the price, no worries. If you need any help maintaining it, if you need anything else done, we are your one-stop shop. You can stop if you want to inconvenience your time, you can go 7 different places. But if you know what I mean, if we can help you in any step of that, we're here for you. Because if we can win them as a car wash customer, we can win them for anything.
Yeah. Man, I had a customer, this was like a few months ago now, that like watched every single one of my videos on my Instagram.
Yeah.
And then they still decided to go with like another shop. Like they spent all this time with me and
Yeah.
they were like, well, someone else had a better deal for their 5-year ceramic coating. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh man, I was like, you spent so much time watching my content and you said how much you loved it. And then you just betrayed me like that, man.
No, you
And
can't think of it like that.
yeah, no,
Absolutely not.
but that's just the reality is that some people are, um, they just think about it like that. Like other people, they don't care what the price is. Like they're like, man, Nick's my guy. Splash is always taking care of me. They take care of me with everything. It's not just with PPF or Tint. It's like these guys are washing my car every single week too. I've got a personal relationship with them. I've done business with them for a long time. My friends and family do business with them. It's just they're not really worried about a few $100 difference in price because they trust you. And those are, I think you realize the more and more you do this that there's going to be people that they, no matter what, they're just going to go for the cheapest price,
And that's okay.
that's
And
okay.
that's business. That's not a big deal. That's
Yeah.
all right. There's that, you know what? That's why it's a free market. You know what I mean? Let people choose where they want to go. And all you're going to try and do is, I let them know, please, if you need to go somewhere else, but if they're not, you know what I mean? Maybe they don't have the best communication or they don't have the best, you know what I mean? Or like answer questions, right? We have 24/7, like the text, they can text us anytime, right? Our web chat. I'm like, listen, go do it over there. But believe it or not, if you have a question on your service, if you've got something that, you know what I mean, you want to fact check, whatever it is, we're here to help.
Mm-hmm.
Simply put, we don't even, whether you do business with us or not, because it's such and again, a local community, right? Because you're only driving 5-10 miles to wash your car. We want all those people within 5 to 10 miles knowing, hey, Splash is there to help. And if you're able to, you're not trying to market to someone in Wyoming, even though that maybe you get someone that ships in a car to do something because they saw a video. You know, what I mean, I know that's a real thing. We play for our local market. We know exactly what they want, and we want to give them that trust factor because there's a lot of small businesses where we live, and they're going to those farmers markets. They're doing those community aspects that and do you have your presence in that local market?
Hmm. Yeah. Another thing too that I feel like it requires a certain kind of person like yourself to really do these high volume businesses well, because like our
Yeah.
business, we're doing maybe 5, 7, 8 people a day, so it's a lot easier to manage 5 to 8 people, customers, per
Customers, yeah.
day and ensure that they're happy. But when you're doing potentially 400, it's like
Yeah.
that seems, it's got to be a lot harder to ensure that all those people are taken care of. So um, naturally, you're going to have more people that, just the law of numbers, you're going to have more
Law of
people
averages. Yeah.
that are going to be unhappy with the service, man. And it's so tough. I can't imagine just having to, you got to balance it between continuing to get better. And it's like, I hear you. I want to,
Right there. That's Josh. We got to talk on that point right there. It's literally trying to improve every day. It's going in, talking to the manager. Same thing on the dog side. Like, hey, what do you need? Is there anything that we can improve? And taking the feedback from the customers. Yes, there's what I get is 400 people that can give me feedback,
hmm,
good or bad. There's nothing wrong with bad feedback. If there's something that you hear repeatedly in your ear, you know how it would be very easy just to tune it out. You know what I mean? And 10 plus years with a sustainable business, but diving back in and saying, okay, hey, what are they saying? And it might not be a direct solution for what they're saying, but asking yourself, what is the root of the problem? Asking yourself, hey, what is it that we can improve on to say, hey, is there, you know what I mean? If they want, they want their car detailed for $30, we can't do that. But what we can do is say, okay, let's have a pop-up on the website to say, hey, if they're on the car wash page, do you need a car wash or do you need a detail? Okay, hey, can we have the cashiers letting people know about the special, listening for keyword? You see what I'm saying? So it's all of those little things of saying, hey, when we get that feedback, is there something else we can be doing? And that constant improvement is what I love to do, man. It really is fun.
do you have a way of meeting with your team like on a regular basis just to kind of go over things like that?
So I do all my meetings one-on-one. Big part of building the personnel infrastructure is you got to know your people. I don't do group. I think the group thing, you're going to have half the people listening, half the people checked out. So I have a list of every single person the last time we met, notes on stuff that's outside of business, right? Saying, hey, what's going on outside, the good, the bad, the ugly? How can I help get you to where you're trying to go? And then saying, okay, hey, inside the business, you know what I mean? We do kind of do like a performance report for someone that we know is really trying to get to the next level and trying to get forward. But even for the guy that's on week one saying, hey, you're washing, we want to get you drying. This is what we need to improve on. And then flipping the question saying, hey, is there something we can be doing better? Is there something that's frustrating you? You know what I mean? that feedback is from 400 customers and from 50 employees. You're going to get it from both sides. And you're going to make sure that you're able to take all that in and say, hey, I could just write it down on a piece of paper and stick in a file cabinet. Or you can actually say, hey, when I go to work today, I'm going to get better. And guess what? I got a list of things that we can do to get better.
Hmm. What's your turnover and your retention like?
Great question. Yeah. Believe it or not, we the turnover is not as crazy as you would think. Um, I don't, in what way? Tell me how I can give you some sort of, are we replacing someone maybe one person every 2 to 3 months? Like it's pretty stable turnover. Now, again, I usually say it comes in waves. It'll be like, hey, you got one guy leaves, and you're going to have a second guy leave. Like that's just usually how it's going to go. I believe in the plus one method. We have one extra guy every single day on the schedule, no matter what. I will pay, like we will absorb that cost to have a heavy schedule so we can book day of jobs, right? Because we can sell a car wash customer a mini detail right there on the spot. We can have any person have any day off. You've got a party you want to get to, you want to be off on Saturday, cool, enjoy it, spend time with family. So having a plus one, and again, there's going to be a day that's a rainy, crappy day, and you're going to be like, great, payroll's a little high today. Part of doing business. You can't have it both ways. So that if we do lose someone, then we just go to the number that we want to be at, not below it. So we're at a plus one all the time, and it creates opportunities. When there's turnover for someone that wants a better opportunity, like I promote that. I want people to say, hey, if you want to try something new, if this isn't for you, I will let you have a job while you're looking for work. I ask for communication. I ask for respect. That's it. I will be there for them and have their back as a thank you for all the hard work that everybody does. Um, and the other part of the turnover, the other part of the employment with so many employees is we cast a net 365 days a year. I do every single interview myself. We are constantly going to be looking for people, even when there isn't a position available, because if it's the right person, we will hire them. We will make we will make room for them. Um, and then we sort of shift from there.
What are your other day-to-day responsibilities?
I don't know. Just sort of it, Josh, it is different every single day. It is different. You know what I mean? That to have a
Oh,
list
I
of what
know.
I do every day, it is where I am needed. So if I will literally kind of do like a circle, and I'll go to the car wash and I'll be like, okay, hey, you know what? I'm gonna help out with that PPF, or I'm gonna do that tint, or I've got this project for me, or you know what? We do the Chicago Bears players. I go there, I make that, like those relationships are really important for our mobile detailing business.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go on the mobile detail. I'm gonna shake their hand. I might not be there the whole time, but I'm gonna make sure that the customer service aspect is really important there. Um, and then I'm gonna say, hey, I'm gonna check on the dog spa. Usually they have a whole bunch of headaches that I'm gonna make sure that they're good on. And then I'm gonna drive to our other location and I'm gonna say, hey, you guys need anything? Oh, and I'm gonna be like, hey, before I go, I'm gonna jump to the other location. You guys need anything? You guys good? Okay, cool. And then we're gonna continuously make that sort of loop. In now, there's gonna be stops with that train, right? Where I'm gonna be like, okay, you know what? They're swamped today. Let me help them out. Let me jump on box. And sometimes I don't even want to jump and talk to the customers. I would much rather jump and just say, hey, you know what? Let's get lunches done real quick. I'm gonna wash some cars for 30 minutes, for an hour, whatever it is, and let an extra guy go to lunch. Have an extra guy go to, you know what I mean? And what that does is like, oh, he's washing cars. Guess what? There's no one sitting on the side on their phone if I'm there washing cars. It builds the culture of having 50 people all move in the same direction is really, really important to make all that work.
Do you feel like that's a good like schedule or routine, or do you feel like there's like any improvements to be made, or like
So
do you have any opinions on that?
no, no, I because it can sound kind of crazy when I say it out loud, right?
Mm-hmm.
The flip side of it is I've also got other, you know what I mean? Like if I'm busy, like we had a renovation at the house. There was a week where I was not there. There was no fires. There was no headaches. Like everything. I'm that plus two. Half the time they're looking at me like there's no position for me to do anything there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I make sure that everything is sort of running smoothly. You know what I mean? Like if I didn't go to work today, well, everything would be okay. You know what I mean? Like there wouldn't be an avenue where someone doesn't know what to do. Um, I selfishly, Josh, I like being there. It's that simple. You know what I mean? When you've got a business and you love what you do, I love being there. If I've got a soccer game in the middle of a busy Saturday where there's a million and one things to do, hey guys, I got to run real quick. I'm going to be at the kids' soccer game. And then it comes back to the mental aspect of it and saying, hey, I want to go back to work after the soccer game. I'm not going to miss one of my kids' soccer games. But man, when you have a respect for the people that work with you, right? Not for you, with you, I want to get back there.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? I want to get back there. It's the reason we're not open from 8 in the morning to 7 o'clock at night is a respect for our employees, is a respect for their time. We would be busy. We could make more money. But I believe in 9 to 5. I believe in having an 8-hour day. I believe in making sure that if I can have some balance, okay, well, I want them to have some balance too. There has to be, I don't know, there has to be some mutual communication, respect. And even though they're like, hey, you sure, Nick? We'll take that overtime. I'm like, sometimes you got to protect people from themselves. And that goes for me included. And that's where you have those checks and balances with Sarah, with family, and it's just a crazy hot mess some days, Josh. But believe it or not, we're at the point where most days are not as stressful as you would think.
No, I hear you, man. I think that some people from the outside looking in think being a business owner means having like a super regimented routine. And I think that in reality, most small business owners are exactly like you, and I think that it's a good spot to be too, where your business can run without you.
Yeah.
Maybe not quite as well, but it,
Yeah.
it can run.
Yeah.
But you can also, you always have something to do. There's always improvements to be made. And you enjoy doing it. So you can spend time in it and help out and contribute and enjoy it. I think that I hear you and I agree with you.
The one thing, Josh, so if you looked at my calendar today, right? Like you said, most people would assume that there's like, or it's first off, there's no like set schedule. Second off, the only thing on my schedule is this podcast with you, and it's not even in business hours. You see what I'm saying? Only
Yeah.
thing that I was like, oh my God, I got to make sure. Hey, sir, can you get the kids on the bus? Because I got to be here on the call. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's all I have on the schedule today. The rest of it is what I want it to be.
Yeah.
And
Well,
that's it.
and
Yeah.
you hear some guys that talk about having like something carved out every 15 minutes. And I'm like, I don't know
Okay.
how that works or where that comes up from. But I mean, maybe it's just different industries, like maybe in our industry, because of the way naturally it works, like we're just more in it and it's a little bit more hectic and random.
Yeah. I I don't know. I think I drive myself a little nuts if there was something every 15 minutes that I didn't have control over.
Yeah.
Um, because again, you just you don't know what every day brings. If there's a day, believe it or not, where everything is running smoothly, then I'm gonna go make sure that if there's that I'm working on something at the house, that I'm working at something, whatever it is, or I'm spending time with family. Like it's a balancing game every single day, and it's something that's believe it or not a good amount of fun,
Hmm.
for me. And the other thing is the type of person I am, and I'm sure other businesses owners are like that, is once you sort of solve the Rubik's Cube, I've always been someone that gets bored with it. I don't enjoy it anymore. I don't want to do it anymore. Um, and that's also the reason for the tint, the PPF, the reason that I do a lot of it, because I really want to get good. And when I want to get good at something, I get really good. Um, it's just, and it gives me another reason to be there for a challenge. I need to continuously challenge myself, or else, there's certain things that just aren't going to get me as excited to be there. And I think everyone has to talk about when they're vulnerable, or when, things, everything's sunshines and roses now. But there was a time where, I was really getting burnt out of just washing cars. And I was like, man, it's not about the dollars. It's got to be about, you know what I mean? Like I would get to work and I would be there at like noon because I could. Um, that's real. That's just the truth. And it took a minute to say, hey, if I don't change something to challenge myself, and it's either sell the business, right, and get out of it, because if you don't love what you're doing, you should not be doing it, or challenge yourself in the business to bring to enjoy what you're doing. I still love the employees. I still love, you know what I mean? But when everything is running so smooth and they don't need you
Mm-hmm.
because you put in all this work to build the personnel up, and then you show up and you're like, if I go put myself on box or talk to customers, I'm literally taking a job away from someone else.
Mm-hmm.
You, it wears on you. It's something that's, you know what I mean? It was a real struggle there for about a year in my mid 20s. And I was like, yeah, we gotta make a shift.
What did you add when you noticed that shift? What service was it that you went to go add?
That was the first time we added the ceramic coating. That was, you know what I mean? That was the first time we added the ceramic. And then 2 years after that, we added the PPF because the ceramic, you know what I mean? I really dove into the paint polishing and I was like, you know what? I was the true believer. We are going to be here wet sanding and we're going to be here. You know what I mean? Like if we're going to go in that direction, that's not again, quantity or quality, right? There is not a ton of quantity in that side of the business. I'll leave that for the body shop. I'll leave that for some other detailers that do a great job doing it. But obviously, I know how to do it. But that's not a scalable business, at least in my perspective, in terms of the training of that. And then after the ceramic, I was like, okay, you know what? I see, the business is shifting. There's things that people want. We need to get into this PPF space. Um, and then you invest in a plotter, you invest in the training, you invest in all this different stuff, and it became a really enjoyable new challenge that sort of reinvigorated me into the business. And then it was like, oh man, we're a hand car wash. We've got such an advantage over PPF shops because of the quantity, right, of people that we see every day. Every car should have some level of ceramic tint or PPF on there. It's just a matter of education.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, how can we get in front of people, right? How can we bring this to their attention? Not be pushy, not be overselling it. Well, and then you see how it just snowballs into a bigger challenge,
Yeah.
right? And it sort of grows on itself to where we are today, where I've got a million and one ideas. I've got that sort of that juice and that fire back to say, hey, we can really take this from where we are now and double, triple, and it's not about without creating more headaches for me. It's going to create opportunities for people. It's going to give people jobs. It's going to, you know what I mean? It's going to really give. And we, again, what are my advantages? Well, I've got 50 guys that I know that want to grow and learn and get better every single day. Okay, well, let's give these people opportunities. Let's build that business within the business so that in 3 years and 5 years, if we do end up opening up a third location, it would simply be for tint and PPF
Mm-hmm.
and ceramics because now we have these two funnels of people coming through for the hand wash, and we might have a smaller hand wash tunnel there, who knows. But if we ever did do another location, we understand that, hey, our advantage is the the amount of faces we talk to every day. Much cheaper than a Google ad. Believe it or not, they pay us for the car wash. We're not paying them for for the Google ad, for the conversion. They're
Yeah.
paying you, to put that in front of them.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think it was that made that switch from when you were like kind of burnt out in your mid
Yeah.
20s and you weren't coming into work till a little bit later and you felt like you were just taken away, everything was running smoothly for the most part, at least well enough to where you didn't really need to be in it for the business to function? Like what was it that, I mean, obviously you found the ceramic coatings. Like I know that was kind of the thing that you moved into, but what
Yeah.
do you know what it was looking back
It's
that
probably a little bit of family. It's a little bit. I you know what's funny? It all happened at the same time, right? And I think I'm lucky. You know what I mean? Like going to the gym. Monday through Thursday, I'm there at 9 o'clock at night to midnight playing basketball. You know what I mean? It's little stuff that I sort of, you know what I mean? Like you put certain things in your routine that are positive. You put certain things that that you enjoy doing. It's about finding the stuff you enjoy. It sounds so simple. It sounds, you know what I mean? Like I don't know how else to put it into words.
mm,
You find stuff that you really like to do, and it's going to let you sort of build off of that to then wake up the next day and be excited for the day. Like does that answer it? Does that sort of give a perspective there?
yeah, I went through that period too, which is why I was kind of asking a little bit deeper. But
Yeah, no, and
Yeah.
keep digging, pull it out of me, Josh. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
an open book. There's total transparency here. You know, it's what did we have? We had Parker, which you saw, and
Mhm.
you know, it's something where you're kind of coasting in a way because you're like 25, you're trying to figure out that work-life balance thing. You're like, man, you know, I don't have to go to work today, but I can be here with family. Well, okay, you're not. It's not that it's not fulfilling, but when you've when you've worked since you were like 14 years old, and you know what I mean, you always loved doing what you did, and then you don't love it as much.
Mhm.
Okay, well, hey, something's got to change. What's going on? You know, and luckily it could be just one day going to the gym or one day or something, and it kind of just gets that little snowball moving,
Mhm.
and you can't let it stop. You see what I'm saying? And then you just continuously build on that. So to ask for if it was one specific thing, I don't think it was. I think it could have been that Sarah had a really good day, and I come home and Parker was really excited. Like it could have been something so simple as that, and it's just like that aha moment. And you can't
Mhm.
always manufacture it as much as pray that it shows up that when you need it the most.
Mhm.
And then sort of set yourself up for success and say, hey, okay, if I'm not doing what I enjoy, what are those other aspects in my life that I can make sure that I'm enjoying? Maybe I went on a vacation. Maybe I went on a trip. And before, trips were really stressful because I was like, hey, I got to get back to work. Like, hey, I got what's on fire today, right?
Yeah.
Now it's like, okay, anything on fire, I've seen before. B, it can get handled. It's nothing catastrophic. You know what I mean? Like it just there's um and if we do the little, you know, math game, this was pretty much 2020. This was pretty much COVID time. This was pretty much like, you know, we went through a pretty crazy time with a hand car wash with everything going on. And I think coming out on the other side of having a business through 2020 made me a better business owner. It put certain chinks in the armor. You know what I mean? That's like, oh man, maybe I was overthinking this. Maybe I was letting this stress me out too much. You know what I mean? Like if I can do this, I can do anything.
Yeah. I will say one thing I think for me that kind of uh, reignited the fire and just helped me to like see a little bit further and, and and have a better perspective on the business was just getting back into it because I think it's really easy. Yeah, everyone wants to build their business up to where it runs without you.
Where it doesn't need you, right?
It doesn't
Yeah.
need you. Yeah. And then I think that it's really easy to like isolate yourself. And any isolation
100%.
is horrible. And so when you start getting to the point where you've done that, you've built it up and then you can isolate yourself, it's like you have to like kick that quickly and you have to be like, no, I've got to still be here
Yeah.
in the day to day and you will find stuff to do and you will find problems to solve and but
The
you got to
one
be
thing I'll
there.
speak to, right, and I think the isolation thing is a real good point to make and hopefully can help a lot of people. Is like, okay, well, that's probably when I started doing more. You know, I was always doing employee meetings, but like, you're getting feedback from other people. You want to go to work for others. You want to work together. You know what I mean? Like, it's just that aspect of it. I think, you know, isn't necessarily going to burn me out ever. Like, I love helping people. I love trying to give people opportunities. I love hearing where they are and where they're trying to go, and then reverse engineering it. That's business. You know what I mean? Like and if I'm able to do that and try and help someone, like, I won't name names, of course, but if someone was, you know, upside down on a car loan, I'm like, okay, hey, bring it in. I've got a banker at this local bank. Let's see if we can consolidate the debt, get you a lower payment, and get you out of this. You know what I mean? And then I spent half my day doing that. Like, I love doing that. Like that that gave me more. The one thing I will say is like when you hit a tint and it like comes out perfect, I still get a serious buzz from that. I'm gonna be honest, Josh. I'm gonna be honest. You know, we're on tint like 1,000. It's like it feels so good. I don't know how to explain it because it was such a pain in the ass to learn how to tint in the beginning, and that still gets me going. Super excited. I go around. I'm like, F yeah, let's go. I'm like, this, go check this. Check it right now. The guy's like working on something. He's like zoned in, wrapping a car. I'm like, hey, look at this tent right now. Look at this tent. Check this out. And it's like little stuff like that. If you don't have that joy, that love for what you're doing, you know what I mean? Just know the person across the street does.
Hmm.
And I think that's a good way to think about it to make sure, like, hey, okay, we've got a really successful business. Do I love it?
Mhm.
Do you love it? Because the people that love it they're gonna grow. they're gonna create they're it's an enigma.
Yeah, and another thing you mentioned too is like sometimes like especially as a business owner, but not always. This can apply to employees too.
Yeah.
But what you think is like work isn't always so. And so in the case that you gave, where like you're helping out one of your employees that's upside down in a car loan, like anyone might look at that from the outside in and be like, that's not work. Like you're not really doing anything. It's like, no, I think that that is work. You're helping out your team grow. And I think that those little things actually have more of an impact than what a lot of people think. And I think we shouldn't discredit that or, spend, if someone needs to have a conversation for an hour at work, like one of your guys, even if it's
Even
about
if it's not
personal
about
stuff.
work, right? Yeah, exactly. That it's not about work.
Yeah. Like, and open that, invite that, encourage that. And don't be quick to like move on. Man, I'm busy. Don't be like that. I think as a business owner, you need to be willing and able to have those conversations.
One thing that one one guy, it was just his birthday, right? And it was like something in passing, right? I probably had a million things on my mind. I'm like, of course I said happy birthday. You know what I mean? Like I know when people's birthdays are, but I was like, listen, we gotta go get tacos next Tuesday, Taco Tuesday, right? And and he's got a little girl on the way, and I it didn't put in my calendar, and it just goes like that, right? Now, luckily he texted me on Tuesday, like, hey, still good for tacos. I was not good for tacos. I don't know what I was going to go to Northbrook. There was something like I was running around. There was something I had to get for the contractor at the house. I called everybody. I said, hey, everything has to get pushed back 30 minutes. I got to go get tacos. I got to go get tacos at 12 o'clock. I'm like, hey, we're jumping in the car. Let's go right now. Let's go get tacos. You know what I mean? Like, I think when figure out what the priorities are, right? Like, what are the things that would trump over other things, right? Okay, well,
Yeah.
I'll call a customer back in 30 minutes. Or, you know what? I'll tell the contractor can work on something else until I go bring them something. You know what I mean? Like, okay, but you know what? We're going to go do this first. Like, this is more important. Um, and I know all these little things that I'm bringing up are not direct dollar conversions. You know what I mean? You can't put a value on it. It's not selling a PPF job. It's not doing a ceramic coating. It's not, you know what I mean? It's not that. It's not, but I think this aspect of business is just as important as that. I
Yeah.
really do.
Do you know the story from the Bible about the Good Samaritan?
I don't know.
So it was like this guy was, and I'm totally botching it. I believe it's in Luke in the Bible. But this guy was walking and he got beat up by robbers and he was left
Okay.
on the side of the road, just beaten and bruised. Um, and then these godly, quote unquote, godly men, one was like a temple worker, walked by him, but he was too busy. He had to get to the temple. So he just
Yeah.
walked on by. And then, a priest walked on by, noticed the guy, kept walking because he's too busy. He's got to get to work too, so he kept
Yeah.
going. Just ignored the guy that was beaten on the side of the road. And then a Samaritan came and noticed him and took the time to actually like spin with this guy and make sure he was taken care of. And I think
Yeah.
that it all goes back to that is like don't be too busy for those little things that come up in life. When you see someone that needs help, even if it's not like directly related to your work, spend the time. Just keep an open mind and open eyes at all times because you never know when someone like really might
And
need
it's
help.
easy.
And
It's easier said than done, right, Josh? It's that's something that you, it's just the one thing that really, and I think I learned this at a really young age, and probably from my father, is to do stuff without expectations.
mm,
You know what I mean? When I hire someone, it's not like, everyone has like that little timer over their head. Like I always think of like the kitchen timer, you know, how it goes off. But everyone has, but it's invisible. You don't know when that employee's going to leave. You don't know when that person's going to move on. You just don't know. You
mm,
can't do things with expectation. You can't be there expecting, I'm going to put all this work or I'm going to do right by my employees so they go and do this for me. It has to be doing stuff without expectation. When I go and do something for a customer, when I do something for an employee, I don't want anything in return. Everything becomes much more rewarding when you don't want stuff back from people. I don't want anything from anybody. Truthfully, like Josh, you seem like a really good guy. I don't want anything from you. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, I want to come on here and see if we can help anybody. If someone has questions, I want to do stuff. You know what I mean? That's good. That's honest.
Yeah.
I think that's how I try and run my business.
That's good. I think that's a good way to be, man. Because the
Yeah.
alternative is definitely not good. So
But you in putting people into other people's shoes to say, hey, look, you know
yeah.
what? People get into business for money. Like there's a financial aspect to it.
Mm-hmm.
I was always under the impression that a business needs to be healthy, right? There has to be some, you know what I mean? Like there's got to be money in the bank to be able to go through the roller coaster of a hand car wash. There's going to be some rainy days, there's going to be some really busy days. And when you build in these other non-weather services, then it stabilizes a little bit. And but I still keep that other aspect of it where if I need to increase my income, I need to look elsewhere, right? I
Mm.
need to go build another business. I need to go do something with real estate. You see what I'm saying? Like, I need to create different revenue streams for me, but
Mm.
I'm not going to take more from the business. That has never happened. That will never happen. That's not what the business is there for. The business is like its own ecosystem in a way. It's like if the business grows, okay, well then the people grow.
Yeah. Don't just loot the business revenue
No,
and
no,
just pull and be greedy and just keep pulling it because you need more. It's like, you know, you're kind of an employee like anyone else. I mean, yes, you're the owner, but you're treated like an employee. And so you get paid a certain wage. And, if the business has a great year, good profit, then maybe you're incentivized for a bonus. Grant Menard, I think, talked about that on my
yeah,
podcast. But you're not, because you're the owner, that doesn't mean you get to just sit there and just pull with whatever you want from it. That's up to you to
no.
go and invest into other things.
But I learned that really early on, and even little stuff like again, you don't need a lot of money to be happy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Money doesn't equal happiness. Promise you that. Um, but what like I built an ATM business, and guess what? I have two storefronts that have ATMs. You know what I mean? Like all these little things, like that you can build, that you can put inside your business that is doesn't. You know what I mean? Like it just where is your mind at to create other revenue streams? Um, so that you don't pull from the business. I think it's just something that takes time. It's hard.
Yeah.
There's plenty of stuff that I've tried that didn't make money, that didn't work. But you have to continuously sort of see stuff you enjoy. I did a lot of stuff online. I did a lot of stuff with Amazon FBA. That was, believe it or not, above the car wash. We had a
Mm.
big storage unit. We were shipping thousands of products to Amazon. Okay, well, that was a little different micro business when I was bored, right? That I was like, hey, you know what? I need something. I need something, not for the money, but for the challenge.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I was like, God, I hate e-commerce. I really don't want to do this. It hit six figures and I was like, do I want to take this to continue or do I not enjoy it? And I didn't enjoy it. And I said, you know what? Let's shift somewhere else. Let's do something different. And that's just something, an example, just something that we've done.
And I'm sure you took a lot away from that has translated over into your other businesses, and helped you grow as a person too.
Yeah, absolutely. And it comes down to the efficiency of time. It's like, okay, hey, if this is gonna suck 8 hours of my day, I don't have 8 hours of my day. If it's gonna require me to be doing everything from start to finish and it's not something that I enjoy, then it's just not worth my time. My time is too valuable. Not to sound like I'm on this pedestal, it's because I value my time since I
Yeah.
was 20, since I was a kid. I was like, listen, I want to do stuff that I like. I want to do stuff that I enjoy. I want to make sure that I'll make money, flipping burgers, but I'm going to make sure that I want to do stuff that I am passionate about, that I enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah. There's that saying, it's like the man that chases two rabbits catches neither. And I think
Yeah.
that there's a lot of truth to that. Not that you can't have, investments in multiple businesses, but that when you only have so many hours in the day and you really have to decide, like, am I going to pursue both of these things, or am I going to kind of, I think you can try out things for sure. But at some point, you really have to realize, like, is this something I'm going to pursue full time? Is this just a passion, a hobby that I'm going to kind of do on the side?
Yeah.
But you have to have that conversation with yourself when you get to that point, like your Amazon FBA business did.
And then the only other thing to consider is, again, when you've got when you're maybe together with someone but you don't have kids, like the kids thing
Hmm.
really throws a wrench into entrepreneurship. I don't think there's any entrepreneur with kids that would disagree with that, because now you've got a mental balance struggle every single day where you get tugged in two directions, right? And you're trying to figure out how to do that. And there's no right answer. There's no book on it. There's no
Hmm.
one that's doing it perfectly,
Yeah.
because it's you're tied to nothing but everything at the same time.
Hmm.
So
Well, Nick, this has been great, man.
I had fun.
Yeah, dude. Tell me, where is a good place that people can should go to find you? Is there like an Instagram or a? I know you've got a few different things here, so
Yeah, I would say our website. I think the website's our best representation of
okay.
us. You know what I mean? Splashandcarwash.com, libertydogspa.com. Because again, if you need, but that's the best way to sort of get in contact, or if you've got questions or something. If you're in a detailing business, if you're in a PPF business, if you've got questions, you know what I mean? Like we're here, and we're here to help.
Awesome, man. I'll link it all in the show notes of the podcast.
Yeah.
Um, but man, this has been great, and I really appreciate you coming on. Would love to do it again at some point too.
Yeah, let's absolutely, Josh. It's been a really fun time.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks again, Nick, and thank you everyone for listening.